It happens all over. I've had many friends that wish they had done differently regarding confidentiality within their LLC operating agreement. Very, very important topic. And then things like dispute resolution, deadlock, dissolution. You need to put in the agreement, again, while you're forming it, not when you have an issue. You want to talk about how you're going to resolve disputes and deadlock. Say, for instance, there's 5 board of managers, 5 members on the board of managers, and one has to recuse himself from an issue, and now you have a 2-2 vote on the remaining managers. What happens? It's a deadlock. You have to think about things like this before you form the business, in that you're going to get a mediator, you're going to flip a coin, whatever you decide to do, you need to put it in your LLC operating agreement, which is in effect your business contract, okay? Same for dispute resolution. Are you going to have a professional come in that's independent and help resolve, much like a mediator? You're going to go to arbitration, what do you do? And then tax matters. If there's a single issue that causes more upset, in my mind, than anything else as far as the business being run, it's tax issues. You need to consult a tax attorney to make sure that your business is set up the way you need to, and you're going to be in compliance with tax laws. LLC operating agreement, here are some issues to think about other than some of the things we just talked about. We mentioned voting rights. In all of these cases of voting on issues, voting on removing members or removing managers, voting on big changes in the equity position of the company, are you looking at simple majorities or some sort of supermajority? And especially if there's a couple founders with maybe 50, 60% of the business, do you want to have 70 or 80% as a supermajority to be able to have changes in things like voting rights and status of the business? Adding new members can become pretty contentious as well. Typically, new members bring in skill sets, or you hope they bring in skill sets, or some form of personal equity like intellectual property. It's not always the case, though. Sometimes people just want to bring in family members, for instance. What does that mean to the business? You want to specify what new members need to bring to the business and how they're going to be brought in, and then what happens to the equity. What do they get? And what kind of things are going to be of concern to the existing members, okay? We mentioned before tax distributions, a big issue. You don't want to be caught with a big tax bill, and if the LLC makes, if you're lucky enough to make $1 million, you have 4 members, guess what? The federal government says each of you made $250,000, and they tax you as if you did, even if you don't get a profit distribution. You need to think about that, and that's why a lot of people, by the way, elect to be taxed as a C Corp. I think it's a very, very smart way to go. And then powers of management and the board. If you're looking at what they're allowed to do, again, other than significant business changes, if you have a set of managers, I usually say for simple day-to-day operations, the board and the management of the company should not have to be running around trying to get votes on everything, especially spending small amounts of money or what I would call day-to-day operations of the business. The special votes of the members in a manager-led LLC should really be limited to these major changes, major investments. But you have the right, because it's a contract, you need to be able to specify, and you can, all of these powers before you sign up to be a member of an LLC.